Them doggone Republicans got Kevin McCarthy in a bind. A tizzy. And the girls are tussling. So y'all know we are careening towards a government shutdown. But let's go back to figure out how we got here. Now, everybody remembers it took Kevin McCarthy 51,000 votes to finally become speaker because hardliners like Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert and them was not going for it. Okay, so then they allegedly make a deal in which, the hardline Republicans will give Kevin McCarthy their vote to become speaker. Now, mind you, they were supposed to have a massive red wave in the midterms, but they only end up obtaining a 5-seat majority, which everyone is looking at like a win for the Democrats because in the historical pendulum of power, it always swings. When you have a Democratic president, it typically swings and goes Republican, whether it be the Senate or the House, most likely the House because those seats are up every 2 years. And when you have a Republican, the pendulum swings because the other side is energized. And then, the other party wins a good majority of the seats. Well, because the Republicans only won 5 seats, baby, it was not giving red wave. It was giving red puddle. It was giving red mist, red dew. Very, very poor performance. So they make a deal. And in this deal, Kevin McCarthy agrees that the Republicans can call a vote of no confidence, so it only takes one member to call for a vote to say whether his speakership should end or not. Allegedly, they also included the fact that they were going to impeach Biden. Baby, no evidence, but just impeach him. So, So here we are, careening towards a government shutdown because Kevin McCarthy and the Republicans cannot pass a bill that the hardliners will get on. Mind you, a deal was worked out back in May when we had the debt ceiling fight. Now, if you go back down in my page, I gave you the difference between the debt ceiling fight and the government shutdown just so we educated and know what's going on. Because it all has to do with money, but different functions, right? But coming from the same house or coming from the same body of Congress. Okay, so let me get to my point. So Kevin McCarthy struck a deal with Biden back in May to avert or keep open the government. However, the hardliners don't like that deal. They say that Kevin McCarthy agreed to deeper spending cuts. And since he doesn't have an overwhelming majority, he cannot ignore Matt Gaetz. He cannot ignore the Freedom Caucus and the really hard right Republicans that the people say just want to see the world burn. Homage to Batman. So here we are in a situation where he doesn't have enough Republicans to pass a Republican bill to keep the government open that will also have to pass the Senate and Joe Biden must sign. And he's not willing to go as far as the Freedom Caucus wants him to go. He went ahead and authorized this impeachment inquiry, which we saw them do that shenanigans yesterday, in an attempt to kind of get them on board for the bill that he was going to bring to the floor to keep the government open. Well, baby, they brought the bill. And I think 20 plus Republicans voted against it. So now it's more than 5. It's 20. And Kevin McCarthy is unwilling to make a deal with Democrats. He's saying it's basically surrender. We know that's a lie. We know that if he makes a deal with Democrats, they're going to call for his speakership. And they already have enough votes to get him out as speaker. So Kevin McCarthy wants to keep his job. So the reason we are careening towards a government shutdown where people on food stamps won't get their assistance, people who are filing for SBA small business loans, those things won't get processed. The IRS being furloughed, air traffic controllers being essential workers and having to work without getting their money. And sure, a lot of the government workers will get their back pay. But what if them people don't have enough money in their savings account to hold them over until y'all decide to fund the government? What about the people that are on food stamps and WIC who got their benefits this month but may not get their benefits next month? Side note, the food stamps have been funded to next month. But what if y'all go on past that? So there are huge implications. But ultimately, this is because Kevin McCarthy wants to keep his job, and he made a bad deal to become speaker in the first place because he wanted the speakership so bad that he took any deal that he can get. And now they have him backed into a corner. Because if he doesn't bring a bill that will deepen spending cuts, those hard right Republicans are not going to vote for it. Furthermore, some moderate Republicans are not going to vote if you bring such a bill because they still have to win their district. And let's just say they do pass it, it's never going to clear the Senate, and Biden is never going to sign it. And on the other hand, if you strike a deal with Democrats and pass what you agreed to in May that has bipartisan support in the House and the Senate, and Biden will sign it, Matt Gaetz and his friends are going to call for your job. It's giving, you are about to lose your job. Get this done. You are about to lose your job. I know y'all remember old girl.
You are about to lose your job. Get this dance. You are about to lose your entertaining me or nothing. You about to lose that job. You about to lose that job. Get this thing. You about to lose that job. You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job. Cause you entertaining me or nothing.
And that's just what it is. Either we're going to go into a government shutdown, which is highly, highly likely. And the only way out of this is for Kevin McCarthy to lose his job. That's it. That's it. I don't see the hardline Republicans changing their mind, especially the ones that just want to see it all burn down. This is the point. It's the point. So Kevin McCarthy's going to have to lose his job, I think, for the government to open back up and be somewhat functional again.